welcome back to our next episode of our podcast series. My name is Suzanne. I am the brand ambassador for Nets International. And today we have a very special guest. His name is Ian Kock, and he is the COO of Netomnia. How are you today?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So before we get into the big topics, I'd like to say big congratulations, because Netomnia has won second biggest altnet.
That's correct.
Right, company.
Biggest M&A acquisition award.
Yeah. Yes, so that's amazing. And fourth largest full fiber network.
That's correct. Yeah. Thank you very much. We're very, very proud of that.
Yeah. So when you think about these milestones, tell me, what is it that springs to mind? What is it that?
Well, I think there's quite a lot that springs to mind. I think we're very excited about the deal that we did. It's sort of moving into 12 months now after the initial deal closed. And it's a good story for the market, right? So for us, there's been a lot of criticism around the alt-tech market. There's been a lot of concerns around funding, but we feel that we've done the right thing. We feel that we've done it right. We're very proud of the fact that we've been able to consolidate with a business like, we had the Brisk brand, obviously, and we've got Netomnia, and we've consolidated. And yeah, it's just exciting stuff. There's more growth, and the future looks bright.
So mergers can be messy, can't they? Cultures clash, systems don't align. But if you get it right, you sort of form, the biggest super fast team, shall I say. So what's been the biggest win from this unification so far?
The biggest win is by far that we've had best practices that we've been sharing across the two businesses. But I'll caveat that. The only way that happens is if the leadership is aligned. And I think more than anything, that was the key for our success in the merge, is the fact that myself, Georgia, co-founder of Brisk, along with Jeremy Will on the Netomnia side, we're completely aligned. And we've parked egos, no agendas, and we've just got a clear path of success in front of us.
Okay, so UK fibre market challenges, let's sort of talk the real talk. It's not always smooth sailing, is it? So some say it's regulations, some say it's down to permissions and funding. So in your opinion, what's been the biggest obstacle nationwide?
The regulatory environment, and it might be because of my background. So originally I'm from South Africa.
Right.
You can hear the accent, and we had a business back there called Rollout that we were founders of, and the regulatory environment in South Africa was really tough back in the day. So I've got maybe a little bit of a different perspective when walking into the UK market. I actually do think that the regulators did a really good job in enabling fibre deployment. I think your biggest challenge in this market is funding. If you don't have successful partners backing you, there's just no way that you can do this. You are not always running on a spreadsheet, right?
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is you need guys who understand what's happening out in the ground to run the business. This is not a banker's environment. So to tie those two up, and the funding that we did have up until now has been absolutely excellent. They've understood when we go through dips, they've understood what the long-term ambitions were. And without the funding, you just simply can't do this. It's a very capital-intensive business to run.
So I see that there's a wave of consolidation, right? So do you think that's down to companies maturing, or some players just can't make it in this game, as in they're just having trouble surviving?
Yeah. I think it's a bit of everything. I think it's an actual evolution for the fibre industry. If you look at the fibre boom across the world, and whether that's third world, first world, wherever it is, you always have this phase of consolidation that comes. It's necessary because you need to divide and conquer to actually deploy fiber. So you've got these businesses all spread across the country. At some point, they do come together, right? And we absolutely hope for the best for every outlet out there. We don't want any outlets to fail. We want this to be a success story. But it's tough going, and consolidation is a way, a positive exit for a lot of these players in the market.
And how should, what do you recommend how we should sort of take the local expertise and roll it out nationwide across the country?
I think Net is obviously, I'm a little biased. It's a partner of ours. We've been working together for many years. And we've got a lot of faith that we've got into Nets. I think the fact that Nets is viewed as a partner, not a contractor, for us has made life a lot easier. We can be transparent about our plans. We can really focus on removing the hurdles that the partner has. And Nets just gets to kind of run and deliver and execute, right?
Yeah.
To do that at a national scale, I think the key phrase that we always lean into is span of control, right? And you just got to make certain that your management structure is sufficient within each pod that you create. And then there's no reason why you can't just copy and paste that across the map. Yes.
Yeah. We aspire to, obviously we are growing rapidly. We're, from Germany to the USA.
Yes.
So I'm just really happy to be part of this team, and so watch this space, everyone. In terms of you as a CEO, COO sitting in that chair, what does service delivery mean to you? Excellent service delivery.
Excellent service delivery. Excellent service delivery.
Is it speed, reliability, or something else?
It's all of the above. I think if you can, I ask, are you referring to service delivery by the partner?
By the partner, and also
ourselves?
Being accountable. Accountability across the board. So.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, and that's really what it comes down to. I think excellent service delivery is about ownership, right? And accountability. If you want to execute successfully, you've got to have skin in the game, right? You truly got to believe in what you're delivering when you want to deliver a good product. You can't do that by just checking boxes along the way.
Yeah.
And you've absolutely got to own what you do end to end and throughout the value chain. So,
that sounds like yeah. Right. So, our favorite 3 words: ready for service. For people outside the industry, it sounds just like another milestone. But why is ready for service so much more than that?
Ready for service is the only metric that matters, right? And without a home being serviceable, it really doesn't have any monetary value, right? And that's the only counter that we keep track of is ready for service. You've got past, you've got a bunch of other definitions of the marketplace, but I think the industry's wisened up to it. There's no longer any confusion around it. And for a funder, for a shareholder, if you can't monetize the asset, what is the asset then, right? So ready for service when you deliver, and if you also take a step back, a partner or a contractor is naturally incentivized to get it there, right? That's when they ultimately get paid.
Yeah.
So that is the most important metric for sure when deploying.
So can you talk us through how it directly translates into revenue and investor confidence?
Absolutely I can. I think your fiber deployment is so capital intensive, right? It's just a money hungry machine, and if you don't at any point start seeing returns on that, you just lose the faith of your funders or your equity partners for that matter. it's all about making sure that you can actually return the investment that you put on the ground. The RFS is maybe if you look across the entire business, is just one of the most important metrics, because if you don't go do the RFS and you can't convert that at a quick pace, right? That's just capital that's tied up. After that point, and this is where we may have confused it a little in the market here in the UK, is we focused and put so much emphasis on deploying that it's become a land grab. And that's not actually what this is about, right? It's about a customer grab. And the only way you get to the customer grab is by executing the RFS effectively.
Right. So it's one thing to build a network, and it's another thing to earn trust in the communities that you're serving. So how do you think fibre changes life for digitally undeserved areas?
Oh, massive. I mean, there's an endless list of upside that it creates for communities. I think you've got the obvious digital divide in the country. That's also stuck all over the world. It's about education, it's about access, it's about content creation, it's about new employment opportunities. The list is endless. I think it's absolutely a fundamental right to have good connectivity. Yep.
Right, so another question that springs to mind, is your network future-proof?
Yes, it absolutely is. From the start, we've deployed XGS-PON infrastructure. We've over-provisioned on fiber on all feeders and links. We want to be sure that this network stands the test of time. So absolutely, it is future-proof.
Okay, if you're looking ahead, if you place one bet on one innovation in the future, whether it's AI, automation, what will most change the fibre game in the next 2 to 3 years?
AI.
Yes, and that's shaping the world.
Yeah,
isn't it?
It absolutely is, and you can't ignore it anymore. I think the opportunity that AI creates on planning, on customer support, right, on analyzing data and anything really. We are playing with it endlessly at the moment. We are having a lot of fun while we're at it, right? And it's just this new toy that we can discover and explore. I think the possibilities with AI right now is endless, and the ability to create efficiencies or potentially just analyze efficiencies and give yourself areas that you can go focus on. AI for sure.
Yeah, I have actually been investigating how we could use AI to do our planning packs.
Absolutely can.
I know that there are apps out there, and it's going to get better. But just to condense, you know how long it takes to plan and design.
Yep.
So to condense that, if you're doing 1,000 homes a month, condense that into a week.
Yeah, you absolutely can.
So
absolutely.
Yeah. Right, I think what I'm going to do now, we're going to do a quick fire round of one word only. Operational excellence. What? One word answers, no thinking.
It's a culture. It's difficult to put it into one word, but culture.
Culture.
Mm-hmm.
Customer trust.
Authenticity.
Fibre 2030.
3 networks.
One word for Netomnia.
Disruptor.
Excellent. One word for Nets.
Reliable.
Fantastic. Most used app on your phone.
That's a good question. I guess that would have to be, that's a boring answer, but it's going to have to be Teams.
Teams.
Yeah, we communicate all day, every day.
Right, Ian, I'm going to put you the hot seat out. So I'm going to throw a few bold statements, and you're going to tell me if you agree or disagree. Consolidation is the only path forward for altnets.
Agreed.
Okay. Speed matters more than build quality.
Disagree strongly.
Care to share?
We are building sustainable businesses.
Mm-hmm.
That's not just about speed. Speed is essential, but quality is the first priority above everything else. You can't venture into this market trying to build a business that you want to sell. We're building a business that lasts and that we can comfortably support and stay in for the long term.
Okay. Most investors don't fully understand RFS.
Disagree.
Why?
I can quantify that. I think in the initial phases of cyber deployment, that might have been true. But I think investors have wisened up and they understand to get a return they need a ready for service home.
Yeah.
And that is the most essential part of your governance.
Yeah, because
any funding that you receive. So, but
customer trust is harder to build than fiber infrastructure.
agree.
Agree.
Always.
So let's talk about the trust that you create within the communities for them to trust you.
Okay. It can be quite challenging, right? As people, we tend to lean into brands that are familiar. Being the new kid on the block, so to speak, is a tough challenge, right? To try and enter a market that's been pretty steady for several years, at least as far as the end user is concerned. The only way that you really do that is to start with your first customer, right? And get it right. It takes time, but right now we sit on a Trustpilot score across the group at around 4.7, 4.8. And you've got to go build that rapport so that you get that customer's faith into the business. From there, it starts to grow. The difficult part of that is you really get one shot at your reputation in this marketplace, right? So you've got to protect it at all costs. I think if you maybe reflect on the deployment side of it, and this is where yourselves and Nets and any other partners come into play, is when we are deploying, right? It is disruptive. Residents don't understand what we are doing out on the site or down the road. Maybe putting a pole up here or there, which obviously doesn't always go down too well. But the fact is, any touch point with a customer, whether positive or negative initially, you can turn into a positive engagement. So for us, we like to engage with the communities. We do town halls, we communicate, we knock on every single door that we pass. It's critical to get that brand awareness out there so that your brand becomes familiar. And I think we at that point where we've pivoted in the areas that we've deployed. We like to think that we are the local brand now. And it's not just what we think, we can see it, right? A lot of our uptake comes from references and from existing customers.
Yeah, I do think the voice of the customer is so important. I mean, quite often we go, especially new businesses, you think that you know the customer, and you think, oh, we can help them. We're good at what we're doing. But any given day, you'll have a different answer from each customer, and it depends how you communicate that, how much empathy you show and understanding. And I think that goes a long way. And also they want to know, what is your brand? What are you about? And you should be there to answer all the questions. And quite often I find sometimes that, whoever's going to knock on the doors, they're not fully versed into knowing what the brand and how to communicate that to the customer. So sometimes there's a challenge there. And I feel that the more information that you do give to the customer, it's beneficial all round. And I've had that experience where I actually take a moment. I'm not rushing, going on to the next, but actually someone who is interested, gets a lot of benefit and satisfaction, and then they'll end up writing, very good letters to us. And that's quite often how we do our customer service.
I fully agree with that.
Yeah.
I think that's a statement that you can go print out, right?
Yeah.
If you are real with your customers and they understand that there are humans behind the brand, humans that sincerely care about what they are doing and what they are delivering, and you've got the people that work for you actually believe in the brand as well, right?
Yeah.
That's why maybe on the one answers was it's a culture. If you get that right, people are authentic. The customer will believe that, right? Because it's sincere.
Yeah.
If you're not being sincere and just punting and throwing pamphlets through the door,
Absolutely.
it's not really a brand that people want to be associated with.
Yeah, and we like to, and I do also think in terms of whether you're liaising with the client or the customer, whichever ends of the spectrum you are, I think communication in a timely manner is very important.
Yep.
That is also, if you leave it for days and days, that's where it builds up, the customer can build up frustration. So we at Nets International, we aim to, reply back to our customers, reply back to our customers, clients in a timely manner. So
good.
Okay, so the final takeaways. Yeah. If you could give one piece of advice to ISPs and delivery partners trying to scale up right now, what would that be?
I think first and foremost, they need to grab any opportunity that they get. I'll use Nets as a great example, right? We might joke about Nets from time to time, but they are the yes men, right? They're concerned about the commercial secondary, and that doesn't mean that they're not concerned about it. But the first or the foremost thing that they focus on is my customer happy, right? And am I representing them on site as I should be? And I think that's the right answer. If you want to scale with a supplier or a client in any way, shape or form, they've got to have the belief in you as a partner to be able to grow. I think the second part of that is a delivery partner needs to be agile, right? The biggest trick in this market in the UK is we create these geographical fences of where we can deploy, right? And we call it the Midlands, or we call it, Yorkshire. And you'll often come across partners that just simply refuse to move out of those logistical constraints that they have. And I think unfortunately, because we move so quick, these areas get saturated. And if you want to make sure you want to ensure that pipeline for yourself, you've got to be agile and you need to move with the times.
Yeah, I agree. And we look forward to deploying our operatives in Scotland, working on one of your projects. So
Fantastic.
Very excited about that. So complete the sentence for me. In 2030, Netomnia will be
the third largest network in the UK.
heard.
It's no longer an altnet,
Okay,
but a
network.
network that is competing with the incumbents on a level playing field.
Fantastic. I look forward to that. It's not very far away.
No, it's not.
But thank you so much for coming in today.
It's been an absolute
Yeah,
pleasure.
it's been
Thank you
great.
for having me.
Thank you.